You know, we've lived in the duality of light and dark. But we've almost completely ignored the fact that there's a third duality here, and that's balance. Okay? We have always been somewhere between the two, never realizing that the balance is actually its own duality as well. And none of us have given that space enough credit. And we certainly don't teach that in our spiritual philosophies or religions of the earth, of just finding the balance. Many of the indigenous cultures have known that all along. You know, they've known about the balance. And in saying that, I brought that up specifically because what needs to be acknowledged here is that the United States changed the world. It changed its perspective. It changed the direction. Up until now, it has probably done more good than harm. But the consciousness of America has radically changed. For the last 60 years, we've been creating enemies, fighting enemies, creating enemies, fighting enemies, fascism, communism, tyranny, and then creating tyranny, communism, fascism, so much so that that our government has now become the monster that it has been fighting all along. Okay? There's a great lesson there in holding on to something and putting too much energy into something that you actually become that which you hate. Okay? We're faced with that. I want you to know that there is not a single benevolent extraterrestrial race up there, the Andromedans at all, who are going to do anything about our government. That's our problem. We let this get out of hand. We let them get out of control. We let them usurp our rights. We let them build all this technology without sharing it. We've let them run amok. We have not managed our constitutional republic, and we have let them take our rights away. That's our responsibility to fix. Now, I'm not advocating overthrowing the government, but what I am advocating is the fact that you absolutely stand up for yourselves and don't take this horseshit any longer. We simply can't do it. It's become a detriment to the planet. Okay? And we are responsible for that. Now, having said that, and this is an unintentional plug for Dr. Sala's book, okay? But I was going to talk about this anyway. In the late 50s, the United States government signed a treaty with an extraterrestrial race who they believed to be benevolent. And agreements were reached, and there were terms to that treaty. And shortly after that treaty was signed and agreed upon, the extraterrestrials broke the treaty, because technologically they were far more advanced than we believed they were. Okay, so the government was tricked into it. However, we called that upon ourselves. We brought that experience to us because of our treatment and our behavior with treaties. Just ask the Native Americans. We signed 263 treaties with the Native Americans, and we broke 263. And it goes on and on and on. So if you need proof of karma, there's one for you. Okay? We drew that to us because we haven't walked our talk. We talk about it. We sing about it at sporting events. You know, we beat our chests, but we haven't walked it at all. Okay? It's in our face, ladies and gentlemen. It's in our face. And once again, America is at the forefront of this. Okay? This economic crisis, in the end, will be a godsend, because what will happen is the ridiculous laws and restrictions and regulations we have put on ourselves will all fall away because there'll be nobody to support them. That's number one. Number two, what makes us great is that we think out of the box. We create something out of nothing. We create solutions to impossible problems. That's what's made us great. Okay? We need to re-embrace that spirit, that wild spirit that freed the world, that changed the world. It doesn't mean that we cannot share that spirit with other nations, because other nations are getting there. Hell, Russia's just as free as we were 25 years ago now. They're changed so dramatically. They realize that what they were doing no longer works. Okay, there's a lesson there. Putin was very specific. Don't go to communism, it doesn't work. Okay? But this is not about politics, this is about control. This is about control. And it's about you. It's about me. It's about us. It's about our kids. Okay? It is time to create something different. All you need to do, all of that I've been asked to tell you, is to consciously, intentionally start thinking about what the world looks like. What a new world looks like, the way you want it. Okay? Do you want centralized government? Do you want a monetary system? Do you want to use fossil fuels? Do you want free energy? What is it that you want? Okay? We cannot allow a handful of people to decide the direction of all of humanity. They are only going to be self-serving. This is our responsibility, because this is our reality. We're creating this together. And if we embrace that, if we take responsibility for creating all of that reality, we can change this so fast it'll blow your minds. Because we're all extremely powerful. Look at what we've done. Look at what we've done already. It's stunning. I mean, an experience that I had when I go on board, they're fifth density beings. Immediately that I come on board, a belt is put on me. And essentially what the belt does is it holds all of my atoms together so that I don't fly apart, because I'm a third density being. My vibration is very slow compared to them. This belt regulates the speed of my atoms so that I can actually coexist with them. Now what's fascinating about that, what's fascinating about fifth density as a third density being, is that my body is moving before my thoughts are. In other words, if they start walking, I'm walking before I stop to think about walking. Okay? Because now I'm connected directly to my higher self, to my soul. I'm not waiting for my ego to click in and say, okay, start walking. Okay? The other thing that was very, very difficult, and I'm going to give Joan Ocean credit for this because she brought it up yesterday in a conversation we had, is you feel like you're losing yourself. You feel like you're just dissipating, becoming invisible. And you're actually not. What's happening is that on a higher vibration, your ego doesn't exist. It falls away. It simply cannot exist in that harmonic. It has no relevance whatsoever. And then what happens is, and it takes some time to adapt, is you're confronted with who you really